Hello, Reds. How are we? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever we are around the world. And welcome back to the Cop Council. Hopefully, all of you are good and well. It is absolutely scorching. That's not gonna, that's not a lie about that. It is ridiculous at the minute in the UK when it comes to the weather. So again, I do want to apologize if you can hear a fan in the room because it is absolutely scorching in this room. But yes, we are here to discuss, of course, Liverpool's pre-season. Again, it has come pretty quick, of course. We do have Preston on Sunday, and of course, we'll get your guys' thoughts and get your guys' thoughts on, of course, everything to do with pre-season and other bits and bobs as well. Anyway, but the first thing I do want to kickstart the show on is, of course, talking about Liverpool and talking about what they have just announced, of course, from Diogo Jota. They have now officially confirmed that Diogo Jota will forever be a number 20, or the number 20, I should say, for Liverpool Football Club. They've just announced it about 40 minutes ago, that again he will now forever be Liverpool's number 20. They've officially retired the shirt from every aspect of the game, in terms of academy, first team, the women's team as well. I believe they've also done that as well. So Diogo Jota will officially be Liverpool's last ever number 20. I think it's great from the football club that they've actually done this. Of course, we kind of anticipated that was going to be the case, but again, it's just great the fact that they have officially announced it as well. And I think, look, of course, obviously seeing that the photos and the videos earlier on, of course, of the first team, and of course Diogo Jota's family, obviously laying down flowers and going to have a look, of course, with all the flowers at Anfield as well. So, of course, it's sad to see it, and sad, of course, to look at everything and look at every photo. But again, I thought it was real class from Liverpool to do this, and it was the right thing to do. Absolutely it was. And look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. But I think it's a really, really good move in terms of it just being the right thing to do for Liverpool Football Club. So look, again, it's great that Liverpool have done that. Then really, of course. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below, of course. But big up QT as well, saying what's up, guys, hope you're doing well. Callum says hello, good to see that that we have retired the shirt as well. Yeah, absolutely. Like, of course, it's 100% the right thing to do. There's no doubt about that. There's no question marks around it either. It was 100% the right thing to do. And it's also great to hear as well that Liverpool will fulfill Diogo Jota's contract as well. That's already been confirmed. So, of course, due to FIFA rules, obviously when there is a death, of course the contract is automatically terminated. But Liverpool have already come out and said that they will fulfill the contract that will go straight to Diogo Jota's family, again, which is fantastic news to hear as well, that the football club have done that as well. But yeah, seeing the videos and the photos earlier was really, really sad as well. But Andrea, is it? Again, apologies if I butcher anyone's names. Again, hopefully doing well, mate. Cons, you got a Liverpool shirt on when you get unveiled. I wish. I absolutely wish, but no, I'm absolutely not. Of course, this probably Mo Salah you think of straight away when you see this shirt, or at least I do anyway. But yeah, or when am I getting unveiled? If never. Big up Scottish Bear as well, saying non-LFC Napoli have rejected a new offer by Galatasaray for Victor Osimhen with £60 million. President wants 65. Yeah, seen that. I'm not gonna lie, if the weather's a bit better tomorrow in terms of the heat, we might do a transfer show on it, because it's all the domino effect really now, isn't it? We're all waiting for the same crap in terms of, look, Osimhen wants to leave Napoli, Galatasaray wants him, as you say, but Scottish Bay, of course, the price tags are a bit iffy at the minute. But look, I think the domino effects will fall pretty soon. In terms of the striker market, if they already have really, with of course not Victor Osimhen, Victor Gyökeres looks like he's going to go Arsenal as well. But QTC is great to see that with the shirt and what money they will give to the family as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's undetermined yet whether or not if you can buy of course, next season's kit with Jota on the back. I don't know whether or not they've confirmed that yet or not. I probably predict that they will do, or will do that, to be fair. But my hair's an absolute mess. But yeah, I think they will do that. I think you'll be able to buy next season's shirt with Jota on the back, and then of course all the proceeds, I'm guessing, will go to a Jota foundation that they will make during the summer. I think that's something they will end up doing, but again, that's just a prediction really. There's not really news into that anyway, but I'm just hoping this window isn't going to go sideways now. I don't think so. I think, look, Liverpool, of course, you can never predict for anything like that, and Liverpool will have been number one devastated by losing somebody, but I don't think Liverpool will again miss out on key people now because of the situation. I think Liverpool now will accelerate because of it, really. But of course, that's another time as well. But that shirt reminds me of Firmino's best season. To be fair, yeah, true. What was it? Mane, Firmino, and Salah all having 10 plus goals in Champions League, which again I think is the only time that's ever happened in the Champions League. But definitely, we are waiting for Nunez to get sold. Yeah, and then it'll be obviously, stuff kicking on. I think the Galatasaray move with Victor Osimhen will be done very soon. I think it's just a bit of back and forth really, but you the guy that does be in the team Coppish chat as well from QT. I have a huge gut feeling we don't sign anyone. We need now thoughts. Hang on, my head went completely blank then. I have a huge gut feeling we don't sign anyone. We need now thought. Yeah, I think we sign players. If anything's already taught us this summer, Liverpool have been ruthless in terms of value, in terms of the players they're going to get rid of. I think Liverpool, in my personal opinion, will sell, even though again it's a very difficult time at the moment. Liverpool will sell this summer as well. Of course, you have to be sensitive around the matter, and of course you have to be supportive of the players that are going to leave the football club. But for me, I think, look, Liverpool will sell and they'll buy this summer. They will do 100%. I'm glad Liverpool are looking after Jota's family. Yeah, absolutely, I'd agree. CJ, we will just lost a player. Karma, we will start moving again after Sunday. I think it'll be a bit after that. I think, look, we personally don't have to, move until late into the window. Of course, if someone goes for our targets, of course, Liverpool are going to act upon it. But at the moment, nothing's really happening. And plus, as well, Liverpool have already got 4 amazing signings already in the door in Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong. So look, there'll definitely be time for it. Reason I say that is Jota wasn't going to be sold, but his death changes that. Yeah, look, I absolutely agree. I think Diogo Jota would have been a huge part of the Liverpool squad next season. I think that was the plan all to begin with. I think we was to sell Darwin Núñez, have Diogo Jota here, and also buy a marquee striker, who that, of course, was going to be. I think Liverpool were going to go in for Alexander Isak. I really do believe that. Now I think it kind of changes Liverpool's perspective on what they're going to do. I know some people may go, oh, well, Liverpool could still go for Isak, and absolutely they could. but Liverpool need to buy somebody, especially if Luis Diaz leaves. Liverpool need to buy somebody that's also a backup for Cody Gakpo, and also, somebody that can play striker as well. So there's definitely, bits and pieces in there for sure. I can see us buying 2 strikers and a centre back. Yeah, I would agree. Edward as well, absolutely. QT, I am everywhere. I support everyone in the Liverpool community as well. Big up Scottish Bay as well. But Liverpool need to not move on, move forward as well. But we will do, shortly. We will do, because if we sell Nunes and Diaz, now we will be very light, and I can't see us signing 3 attacking players. No, I can't as well. I personally think Liverpool will sell Nunes, and that's it. I think Liverpool will sign 2 strikers. Obviously, I do think Liverpool will sign Hugo Ekitike this summer. Whether or not we then go out to buy another striker or somebody that's very versatile, that's the other question, really, isn't it? I do think Liverpool will sign Ekitike. I do. Rodrigo should be targeted, definitely. Yes and no. I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? If Luis Diaz goes, sure. If not, I don't know. I think it's a bit iffy, but I do think Liverpool should be in the conversation and will be in the conversation, I think. But again, we'll have to wait and see. How are we, Conor lad? Very hot right now. I'm absolutely boiling at the minute. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well with this ridiculous weather. Rodrigo is overhyped. He doesn't start for a reason. I would tend to agree, but I know certain people that I know are frustrated when I say that, because they're huge admirers of Rodrigo. Look, every single time I've watched him play in the Champions League, I've kind of looked at it and gone, really? Everybody's hyping Rodrigo up. But in other games that I've seen, or like a little highlight, games in the La Liga, he's not quite decent. So I don't know. I think it's every time I watch him in the Champions League, it's not really good. But we'll have to wait and see. But likes up people as well. Yeah, if you could, very much appreciate. As always, we will get into the preseason talk in a minute. But I'm actually looking forward to Sunday Con to see how the lads are. Yeah, same, absolutely same. Ozan, Ekitike, and no idea who the left wing's going to be. I'm happy with Gakpo, but we need another one. Still, yeah, I would agree. I think. We are going to do a video talking about left wingers and potential Diaz replacements. Look, there'll be talk about that one there for sure. CJ, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Kingsley Coman or Gnabry on a free, because company wants them gone. Not for me, Cal. Maybe 6-7 years ago potentially. Now, no. Watching both of them in the Club World Cup for Bayern Munich was a struggle, especially Gnabry. But yeah, no, I wouldn't want any of them at Liverpool. QT, big up fella as well. It says Scottish Bay. I could see a world where we get Ekitike and Gordon. But yeah, well, Gordon's very similar, isn't he, to Luis Diaz, or was very similar to Luis Diaz. So yeah, it's a definite option for Liverpool for sure. I'd also say keep an eye on if Barcola become available from PSG. I'd say keep an eye on him. But look, that's all if, for example, PSG decided to sell, which apparently they're looking at signing him down to a new contract. So that's even out the water, really. Wouldn't take Gnabry on a free, not Coman. Bayern have let Gnabry down. I don't personally, not now. I don't rate both of them. Kingsley Coman's one injury away from retirement, and Gnabry's iffy, and he really. But look, we'll have to wait and see for it, of course. But yeah, wanted to talk quickly about Diogo Jota, and of course the number 20 being retired, which is fantastic news by Liverpool. The fact they've done it as well, because of course people did have a bit of confusion when they brought that statement out last week about it. But again, it's fantastic that they have now officially confirmed it. If you actually go on Twitter as well, or I think on every single announcement page they've done it. They've done it on the 20th hour of the 20th minute, which is really, really class as well. I did like that little feature as well from the Liverpool media team. So again, kudos to them. And great news that Liverpool have done it as well anyway. But we will move on and talk and discuss Liverpool pre-season, because again, the football is back in some capacity. The Reds are back in some way because of course pre-season is upon us, like we mentioned. Now look, Liverpool do have 4 opponents for the pre-season tour. Of course, Liverpool play Preston on Sunday, obviously away from home. Will be played in Preston. Then we fly out to Japan, I believe it is, for obviously the game against AC Milan, and then we end up playing. Again, I apologize for any pronunciation mess ups. Yokohama Marinas. Again, I apologize if I butcher anyone's names. We play them, and then of course we have the double header against Atletico Bilbao. Both games at Anfield. One will be kicking off at 5 o'clock. The other one kicking off at 8 o'clock at Anfield. And again, I want to know your guys' thoughts on this as well, because of course with pre-season normally we would be very excited, wouldn't we, in terms of we'd be very excited for new signings. We'd be very excited for, tactics and analysis in it, really. And for me, and again, I want to know your guys' 5 players that you are most excited to see or excited to watch in pre-season. Because look, of course, with a mixture between obviously first team players and academy players as well. Again, I'm very much intrigued to see how the academy lads are doing, and also looking to see what Arne Slot wants to do next season in terms of tactics. Because in my personal opinion, I think we'll definitely see Liverpool play more of a style like PSG, and I think we've already spoke about it in depth, haven't we, how Arne Slot has been very inspired about PSG and Luis Enrique and how they played and how they are playing, really, because like they are the favourites of the Club World Cup. And I think over time, Liverpool want to develop into that style of rapid, can literally change a game in an instant and control the game in an instant as well. How influential players like Hakimi and Nuno Mendes have been towards PSG, and Liverpool, I think, in my honest opinion, are trying to replicate that in terms of Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong. Hang on a minute, chat. Let me quickly reply back to a text message. There we go, chat. Apologies. There we go. So yeah, for me personally, I think Liverpool are going to try and replicate that, and I think that's the thing for me that I'm most excited to see, and seeing how we develop in terms of the build up from last season. Because I think it will completely change from last season. I don't think we're going to be playing like we was. I think there will be some sort of change. And look, for me, like I said, Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, they are the two for me that I'm going to be glued on. Of course, I'm going to also be glued on Florian Wirtz. Very, very, very intrigued to see how he does in an Arne Slot system. And I'm really interested to see how the team kind of evolves. Maybe we won't see that so much on Sunday. Maybe, of course, it is just to get minutes in the lads' legs and trying to, of course, sort a few things out. But look, I'm excited for the football. I know, obviously, it is a very dark time at the minute around the football club, but I think the football side of things will kind of be a break from everything, really, for the players, the staff, of course, Arne Slot as well, the manager. For me, it will be not a refresh, but it will be a kind of kind of a breathing room then to again get back to the football and kind of take your headspace out of an unfortunate thing, really. And look, I think that will be a beneficial thing, I think, as well. But of course, it depends on the person and the players themselves as well, because I think, of course, everyone deals with things differently. But in my honest opinion, I do think this comes at a time that, again, the players will want to, again, get back to things, really, in terms of, preparing for the season ahead. Because now, look, I think it'll be an extra motivation for the season now to go on and win stuff this season, in my honest opinion, as well. But of course, let me know your guys' thoughts down below, and let me know 5 players that you guys are interested in as well. But Gordon will be overpriced. Newcastle will be looking for around 100 million. No thanks for Gordon, as well as Scotch Bay. I was just saying it because we know FSG love a random signing. Endo, Thiago, and even Jota was random at the time. To be fair, I seen a post on Twitter this morning about, what's your club's most or what's your club's best transfer, in terms of like surprise and shock. Fabinho is number one because we were so surprised when that happened. I think Jota's got to be up there because we signed Thiago, didn't we? And then the day after, it was just announced Diogo Jota signs for Liverpool. And apparently, a handful of people only knew about it. Obviously Jota, I think his wife, obviously it was his girlfriend at the time, but obviously his wife, I think, was it Julian Ward at the time as well? I think Jurgen Klopp, they were the only people who knew that we were going to go for him. So look, one of the deals that just surprised you, and of course was one of the best ever as well. But yeah, I think it's got to be up there for sure. But the tribute video is also 1 minute 20 seconds long. Yeah, media team have done tremendous. The whole club have done tremendous in this situation as well. So yeah, absolutely fair play to everyone involved. Gordon's average as well. Gakpo has double his starts and isn't our main left winger. Look, I think Gakpo, for next season, I think Gakpo will be more of the left winger. In my honest opinion, but look, that's just my thoughts on it. But do you think that Frimpong and Wirtz will play Sunday? Yes, I think we will see them in some capacity. Whether or not they're going to look, most likely we're going to have one half of, again, maybe first team players mixed in with a few of the youngsters, and then of course the second half will be the same. But yeah, normally there's 2 halves, isn't there, of different teams, so we'll have to wait and see for it, of course. But what else do we have? CJ, I take Gordon. He would ball out in our team, but not at the price Newcastle want. Well, they want £100 million, don't they? Supposedly, which, if that is the price tag, yeah, there's no way that happens. I'm sorry, yeah, there's no chance it happens. But Martin says, hi mate, I'll watch the first game. Well, I think it is on Sunday. It is going to be on ITV as well. I think ITV secured the rights for it like months ago, and it's only recently come out. So I think that obviously the game's going to be on LFC TV, and of course it'll be on ITV as well. As of right now, I think that is still the case, but I'm not too sure. You guys will know before me anyway. But off season won't be wasting my time on pre-season as well. To be fair, I will be, because there's content. So we will 100% be doing it. But now Gordon's too average and dives a lot, and his shooting isn't very good. I think Gordon's okay, but would I want him for the price? No. That's my honest opinion. But Ibu is worrying me. Why, QT? Do you mean in terms of him leaving? The one thing I will say is, don't listen to any of the Madrid stuff coming out. That's the only thing I've got to say, because at the moment, every single thing Real Madrid are poking at, or Real Madrid are looking at the minute, everything's been blown up proportion, because of course they've just been battered by PSG in the semi-final of the Club World Cup. And I've saying that though as well, I've seen Real Madrid fans come out and say, we were never, oh, we didn't really care about the Club World Cup. Oh, we'd won it. We just won it. They really wanted it. They paid £10 million for Trent Alexander-Arnold to win the to go on and win the Club World Cup, and they've not done it. They were embarrassed by PSG. And look, I loved every single minute of it. I'm not gonna lie, but wouldn't be surprised if we see Wataru start in Tokyo. Yeah, same. I think 100% Liverpool will do that. Carl says excited for Wirtz, Kirkes, Danz, Rio, and Bajcetic as well. I think with Stefan, of course, obviously he's just recovering back from that surgery he had, didn't he, from the back end of last season. I think we will end up seeing probably, I'm not going to lie, you will probably end up seeing Bajcetic, taking time throughout preseason. But again, I'm intrigued for sure to see what happens there. No one can really top PSG's attack. No, not at the minute. Nobody can really top PSG full stop. At the present moment in time, they are pretty much unstoppable at the minute. But fair point on looking at PSG. Yeah, I think so. I think PSG are the benchmark at the minute, and they are. Like, I'm not even ashamed by saying that. I think Liverpool, look, in my honest opinion, Liverpool right now are probably the only team that can still challenge PSG. You look throughout the Champions League, you look at, again, PSG dominated Arsenal, even though Arsenal fans will tell you that, they won by XG. They battered Inter Milan in the Champions League final. They cruised it, really, didn't they, against Aston Villa. The Club World Cup, yes, I know they lost one game in that, but still, everybody knew they were going to bounce back and beat everyone else. And they've just battered Real Madrid in the semi-final. The only tough game that they've had, or tough two games they've had, is against Liverpool. And I'm not going to lie, at the time, Liverpool wasn't very good in the two games, and we still managed to take them all the way to penalties. And that's the thing. On a different day, Liverpool would have won that game, and Liverpool would have gone on to win the Champions League. I'm 100% confident in saying that. But this is why I think when we talk about high tempo, and when we talk about, again, the velocity of our fullbacks, I think going into next season, they are going to be very crucial for us, in terms of build-up and in terms of dominating the game, where, again, teams now are going very much man for man. And we've seen it, against PSG and Real Madrid. Look how they completely fell off. And that's how Liverpool want to do. Liverpool want to completely decimate their opponents, and having a striker that can finish will also massively benefit Liverpool. You look at how selfless all that team is. Same with Liverpool. Liverpool's team, I think, is very selfless. The whole team works for each other. And for me, that's how the best teams in the world have been ever since. You look at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, in terms of Liverpool's peak at around 2018, 2019, 2020, the whole team was just one massive machine. And that's similar to how PSG is now. And I think truly Arne Slot has really taken, some real inspiration from them. And we will start to see things that they are doing, that Liverpool will now start to do. I think that will happen in pre-season, absolutely. But yeah, I think there's definitely a few things to look out for in pre-season that we probably wasn't doing last season at all. So very intrigued to see anyway. But the praise you give PSG after the games as well, says QT to Martin. Yeah, absolutely. He's very complimentary, isn't he? I think that's the difference between managers, where you look at, Mikel Arteta, where he's like, oh, no, we were the best team in the Champions League, and we should have won in this, that, and the other. And then when you look at Arne Slot, he gave PSG a lot of credit. He gave a lot of credit towards Chelsea, when they played us at Anfield. And, he was quite honest in saying that Liverpool probably should have got beat that day, but we didn't. And that's the thing. And I think that's the differences in class of mentality as well. When you're not, on the day, you're not as good as, the opponent, and you admit that, and you find a way to somehow be better. And that's the difference for me when you look at other managers currently in Europe, and I look at Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, where he doesn't admit he's wrong. He doesn't admit that he's made a mistake, or they're not good enough, to be winners and so on. And that for me is the difference between the mentality to win and not to win. Really, in my honest opinion, anyway. But Ozen says, Con, what do you make of Spurs' recent signings? Do you see them as a threat next season with a new manager as well? I don't see them as a threat in terms of the title, but they are making very good moves. I'm not going to lie. Of course, signing Mohamed Kudus. And, well, whether or not they do end up getting Morgan Gibbs-White, because, of course, at the moment, it does look like there will be legal action from Forest for Morgan Gibbs-White. So it'll be interesting anyway. See what happens. We played PSG at the wrong time last season. We were tied. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think if Liverpool had been fully firing like we was maybe towards maybe the start of December, I think Liverpool would have beat PSG. I really do believe that. But like, I think mainly, even going into preseason now, like I've already mentioned in terms of Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, I think one thing as well will also be interesting is the youngsters. When we talk about the players breaking through, of course, centre half at the minute, there is an open position there. Can Narlo, for example, in the academy, can he break through and, kind of do what Drell Konza did and impress Arne Slot to kind of go, or maybe we don't need to go and spend 50 plus million on a centre half because we've got one in the academy. Personally, I don't think that will happen. I think Narlo, again, will be a great addition for a fifth choice, but I think Liverpool will go out and sign a centre half before the window closes. Of course, as things are at the moment, you probably would think it's going to be Mark Gahey, which, of course, the Crystal Palace news today, by the way, absolute shambles from UEFA and everyone involved. I feel very, very sorry for Crystal Palace, but if that means Mark Gahey's price is a bit cheaper now, again, sorry, not sorry. No, but all joking aside, it is a real shame that they got knocked out of the Europa League. Of course, it's going to be appealed, isn't it? In due course, and look, I think it will get overturned. I think Crystal Palace will play in the Europa League next season. Anyway, but I think on an overall perspective, I think, in my honest opinion, I think the ones to look out for in terms of the youngsters, I would say, of course, Trainioni, Ben Doak as well. I think keep an eye out for now. Of course, Liverpool are looking to sell, but we've seen with certain other players, if given the opportunity, again, could he make his way into Arne Slot's thinking? Who knows? I personally think he will end up being sold. But again, Trainioni, Ben Doak, Narlo, for example, as well. Obviously, Rio Nguma again in this preseason. I think we could end up seeing him used a lot more in terms of when we talk about, obviously, Liverpool looking at a left winger. If we have Rio Nguma make that next step up, who knows? In the next season or two, he could be Liverpool's either backup fullback or not fullback, sorry, backup left winger, or could end up being the number one guy in the future and kind of break through, similar to for example, like how Raheem Sterling did, 10 plus years ago, when, he broke through in that 13-14 season and then ended up, being one of the Liverpool's main names in the team. So I think that's an interesting thought as well. I'm really intrigued to see how we use Trainioni going into, of course, going into preseason. Obviously, the last preseason in America, we ended up using him as a sixth, didn't we? Or Arne Slot did, of course. We've seen him now and again under Arne Slot, of course, in the League Cup, but we've not seen him play consistently. So I think that'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But look, in my honest opinion, they're the ones to look out for sure. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below as well on who you're excited to see, of course. But Carl says, we played PSG at the wrong time last season. Yeah, absolutely we did. Big ups to Ludus. Hope you're doing well, mate. Saying how you're holding up. Connor, my guy, I'm very good, thank you, mate. Hopefully you're doing all good as well, mate. But QT says, if we can Give Diaz a new contract he wants, then buy Isak and Gehi. Diaz can play second striker when Isak is rested. Um, Isak's not going to, not Isak, sorry. Luis Diaz is not getting a new contract. It's simple as that. He's definitely not getting a new contract. We know this. The club have pretty much confirmed that as well, that he's not getting a new contract unless he, I don't know, unless he asks for lower than what Liverpool think he wants. Because, look, Luis Diaz at the moment, he's entering the twilight of his career, isn't he? Look, at the minute, how old is Lucho? 27, 28? This is obviously the contract he is coming up to will be the last big contract he gets unless he moves to the Saudi Pro League. Now, we know for a fact Luis Diaz has an infection of a love interest in Barcelona. We know that for a fact because again he's in constant communication with Deco at Barcelona, but of course you've also got Bayern Munich in the conversation. And that bid yesterday that we spoke about, that 40 odd million pound bid, you're never getting him for that. Look, you have to double that. Minimum you have to double that for Liverpool to be in the conversation, around it. And that's why I find it quite funny how Bayern Munich reporters have reported it like, oh yeah, Liverpool, Bayern Munich have had the bid rejected, but they'll go back in for it. And I'm like, unless you're going to be serious and bid, a hefty amount, you're not going to get Luis Diaz. And it doesn't matter if it's Barcelona or Bayern Munich, you're not going to get him. And that's the thing I find so funny, that both teams think that they can just get Luis Diaz because he wants a much improved contract, that they can just get him for 40 million quid. Like, there's no chance Liverpool do that type of deal. Liverpool would be, by my personal opinion, Liverpool would very much be happy to keep him for an extra season, sell him then for like 30, 40 million next summer, where he's only got 1 year left on his contract, and then bring someone else in. Because again, next summer, Liverpool might see a left winger that they have an eye on at the moment who becomes available. Who that is, I don't know. But you guys know what I mean in terms of Liverpool will have some sort of idea of who they want already, whether or not that is a Rodrigo. If he does become available and he does communicate to Real Madrid that he wants to leave, then Liverpool might go all in for him. You don't know. Again, Rodrigo can play as a striker, can play on the left, can play on the right. That would be a very versatile player that Liverpool could have at a top quality level. So again, there's definitely different things that could happen this summer for sure. But look, I'm excited. I'm excited for the season ahead anyway. But Preston 0, Liverpool 2, Elliott and Wirtz as well for Cal. Trainioni and James McConnell. I'm looking forward to. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think James McConnell now will be Liverpool's backup 6 now for the season. Obviously, Tyler Morton looks like he's going to be leaving at some point. And yeah, it does look like the James McConnell is going to be given a chance. I think last season, was it injuries that really, didn't help him last season? So look, I think there's definitely going to be playing time, isn't there, for James McConnell and this Liverpool team. Ozan says Bayern are not in a strong negotiation position, Con. They already need a forward. When Sane left and Musiala unfortunately broke his ankle. Yeah, exactly. They wanted again, we said this yesterday in the show, the entire market for Bayern Munich has been left wing, and people don't really necessarily know this information, but the whole pitch around Florian Wirtz for Bayern Munich was that Musiala was going to be played on the left, and they were going to play, or they were going to be played as a 2-10s. They were going to be played in a 4-1-4-1 formation. This apparently was the information that Sports Build released from company's presentation towards Wirtz and his family, that they were going to play 4-1-4-1, basically. Either Musiala would be on the left and Wirtz would be in the cam, or both would be playing as attacking midfielders. Again, it's not going to work, and this is the other thing. People said that Bayern Munich have over 100 million euros to spend on Wirtz. They never had that money. You know, look, they've tried to lowball Stuttgart for that 6'9" striker, and now they're trying to lowball Liverpool for Luis Diaz. It's just never going to work. Come on. And look, yeah, I think it's very funny to watch them at the moment just scratch and crawl for every bit of millions at the minute that they're trying to, claim that they've got. Anyway, but look, I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Of course, we talked a little bit about preseason. Look, the main important thing for me, no injuries, and that's the main important thing. Maybe we might be back tomorrow, depending on the weather. If it's absolutely ridiculously hot, we'll be back Sunday to talk a little bit after the game. Get your guys' thoughts, of course. Obviously, it's going to be a very emotional day for everyone involved. Of course, like I said, we probably will be back tomorrow at some point. So make sure you are staying tuned to the channel. Make sure you are hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button as well if you are new. And of course, make sure you are following us on Twitter or X or whatever you want to follow it. Of course, we post on there about anything to do with Liverpool, or obviously on the channel as well. So again, hopefully you guys are all good and all okay. Anyway, but QT's have a good one, buddy. And Ozan saying thanks as always, Connor. As well, you're very much welcome. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your nights anyway. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. But I've been Connor from the Cock Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.